Hello, welcome back to my channel. So I have not been around for probably about 2 weeks, maybe even longer than that. My last video was talking about this message that I got about, something not being what I thought it was going to be, or you're thinking it's something that it's not. And I was talking about how I was thinking that this had to do with a condition that my dog was having at the time, battling an inner ear infection, things like that. And I just wanted to come out to say why I have been absent and what all transpired. So, um, basically, the message I got, I was so hopeful that the message was good news. Um, but unfortunately, it was not. Um, my dog ended up, well, we thought he had an inner ear infection, and so we were treating him and giving him antibiotics and steroids and things like that. And he got better for a little bit, and then didn't seem to be responding anymore. And so we took him to the vet again, got him on some more antibiotics, and it just wasn't getting any better. And so I ended up taking him to a neurologist because his head tilting was getting pretty severe. He was walking in circles. His balance was off, all of this. He wasn't showing any real signs of pain or anything, so we just didn't really know like what was going on. And so I took him to a neurologist for canines, and they did a CT scan, and it was determined that he was suffering from some sort of brain tumor. Maybe possibly even had pressure in his brain and inflammation, due to whatever tumor or cancer was there. And that was what was causing his mobility issues, basically. And, in the back of my head, when all of this started, I kind of, usually when you see head tilting in an animal, any animal really, it means, ear infection of some kind. And so I was hopeful, but in the back of my head, it was like this came on all of a sudden, it seemed to us, obviously you're like, what happens if it's this? And so when I saw that message come through to me, I was hopeful. I was hopeful, and you have to stay positive, right? Especially if it's going to be something serious. Well, I guess it was a message saying that no, it's not what you think it is, meaning it's not an inner ear infection. And, that's one thing that, actually it's two things, when something like that comes into your life, like this dog was 6 years old. I mean, he was very young. And when you see something like this, your automatic response is, this is crap, man. This dog was dealt a bad hand. And you start to, question your spirituality, the divine, all of that. And be hateful and resentful, for the hand you're dealt. And I'm not really one to do that, like I do get mad. But when I go back into my head and in my spiritual awakening, I ask God to show me signs that say, what is really going on here? And there are so many signs that I could talk about, which I don't even know if I can do this in all this video. But the main thing is when we first started to research what was going on with him, we did our research and we found out that boxers are predispositioned to get brain tumors at around that age, between the 5 and 7, 8 year mark. So it's not uncommon. Actually, the vet that helped treat him initially for the inner ear infection, she, at the end of the day, warned us that it could be something with his brain. And she actually had to put her boxer down because of the same thing. So it's not uncommon. So that I can say, and we didn't know this, we didn't know this getting a boxer. We weren't even aware of this. I had a boxer growing up, and he lived to be like well over 10 years old. My fiance, same thing. They had a boxer, and he lived to be like 13. So, of course, this is like, 20 something years ago, 20, 30 years ago. But, these things don't enter your head. When you get an animal, you're not like running out trying to figure out what their ailments are going to be in their life. So that is one thing that the Lord brought to my attention is, hey, this is not something that is uncommon. And there were things that were going on, like even early in his life that, we noticed that he was, kind of clumsy at times. And, really that was all about it. It was just kind of clumsy and, yeah. And so it was just like, you kind of think that and you're like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. But you don't, really think much about it. And then another thing that was brought to my head that I really want to make sure that I say this. Because the person in my life that loved this dog immensely, the dog came into his life for a reason. He was, going through some loss in his family and all of that. And Riz was there for him through that, helping him with the loss of a parent. And, so the dog really like took to him more. Like we have another dog and that dog is more mine. And then, this dog that we just lost was more, my fiance's. And he obviously has been very shook up about this loss. But as the dog was in our life, like the only thing that he could ever talk about, and I know he meant well, but he would say this like all the time. Oh, I don't know what's going to happen when you leave or pass away or I lose you or whatever. Like always thinking about him not being with us. Like always, thinking about when we wouldn't be able to be with him again. And it's like, why would you do that like I have never done that with anything. I've never done that with an animal. I've never focused on the negative of anything. And it's like, and I would say to him, like, why are you talking like that? Like, I understand that he means a lot to you, but why are you focusing on that? Like, love the dog. Love the dog and be grateful that he's in your life now. And don't voice this stuff out into the, ethers. Well, of course, he's not in a spiritual journey of any kind. And it's like, that has always been in the back of my head is what did he manifest this dog's illness? Like, I have prayed to God to show me signs of how this came about. Like everything that has happened in my life, I don't believe in coincidences. And I don't believe that this dog just got this freaking tumor. Like, and maybe I'm totally wrong, but there's just something in me that says there's more to all of this than just this dog being predisposed to this tumor. Like I've never, first of all, I've never had to put down an animal. I've never had to euthanize an animal. In my entire life, my parents have, my grandfathers have, but I was always never around for that. Thank God. Nor have I ever had an animal pass away from something so, like, serious, I'll say. Like, usually it's been, like, old age. Actually, old age. I mean, that's all I can say. I've never had a dog pass away of an illness like this, especially like this. And so this has been just like, I have been tore up, which is why I haven't been posting videos, because it is like a loss. It's like a family loss, like of a child. Like, to be honest with you, I have been more shook up about the passing of this dog than I have about my own family members passing. Grandfathers, grandmothers, mothers, you know? Like, this has been very hard. Very hard. Plus the fact that we have another dog that we've had to think about too. And that dog is 10 years old. They were best buddies. And that dog is lost too. So there's a lot of things that have been going on with this whole thing. But yeah, back to that. So it's like, have you manifested this into this dog's life? Like, and I get that he meant well, but why are you doing this? Why are you saying, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do if something happens to you. I don't think I'm going to survive if anything happens to you. It's like, okay, well, you say that out into the universe and it manifests. Then another thing that I have thought about all through this whole thing is, for about a year, I have woke up in the middle of the night, usually, you know, around the spiritual hours of 2, 3 in the morning, and have always been in like this sorrowful feeling. Like I want to cry. Like I just want to burst into tears. Like I've had it's like a loss. It's like that loss, sorrowful feeling. Like you would have if someone passed. And I've always thought, am I like thinking about my parents, my mother, my grandfather, you know, whoever else that has passed in my life? Have I seen people like in the spiritual realm, you know, like in dreams? And some of me wonders if this was like preparation. Like if I traveled in time to this time when this was happening, a year down the road, and I knew it was going to happen. And I could never, you know, tell, okay, it's about a dog and him passing and getting illness or whatever. No, it was never anything like that, but it was always just this sorrowful, wanting to just weep kind of feeling. And I just didn't know what it was. And it was almost like, you know, I don't want to go on. Like, I can't go on. And who knows, maybe, like I said, maybe I was seeing things in the spiritual realm. Maybe I don't even know. But some of me wonders if I was seeing the future unfold. And so that is kind of the story. I just wanted to come out and say a little bit about this. And then I've also asked the Lord, like I've said out into the universe, if I find out who has manifested this into this dog's life, I will rain holy hell on them. Like I will demand justice, because it's not fair, it's unacceptable, and I don't know if someone like is against me and manifested this, worked black magic on this animal. If it was, again, what was manifested through my, the significant other in my life, through, like, no, I don't think through malicious intent, but the fact that he's always in a negative spirit, which has led me into other thoughts as well. But if you have manifested, and he's very sorrowful about this whole thing, like obviously, like he's very upset about this. But on the flip side, did you unknowingly do this? Like, why can't you get out of your own head and be positive? and just enjoy the dog. Like, I don't get why I have never even heard of anyone doing that. Why would you do that? Just enjoy the dog and be thankful that he was brought into your life. Be thankful that maybe God or the divine provided you this dog to get you through your sorrowful time. And you know what? I've gotten other messages saying that, things are going to come to light. Things are going to come to light, and you are going to get miracles. And these people that are either against you or are not walking in their spiritual walk, if you will, that need to be awakened, are going to get the information they need. And things are already happening that as a result of this. There's so many things I could say, and I think I'm going to leave this for another video. But we did have to think about our other dog. Like I said, he's 10 years old. He lost his buddy, and he was already moping around the house and didn't know what was going on, was looking for the other dog. And so we both got it in our hearts to adopt a dog from a humane society. And this is the first time I've ever done this in my entire life. I think for him, I think his parents have gotten rescue dogs. But this is the first time that I have done this. And I am going to save that for another video, because that's where it will get a little bit emotional, and I really feel that this is a divine spiritual walk that we are on, that we have been blessed to be a part of. And I think because I am in my own spiritual journey, I can see these things. I think I'm very sensitive to things like this. Not that I can see, ghosts and spirits and things, but I see things manifest. And I've watched very closely for what's happening, and it has been crazy, the things that we have seen. And of course, we miss Riz every single day. My fiance talks to him in his spirit every day, multiple times a day. I do too. And, maybe this is what he needed, is to have someone to talk to. Like, he didn't believe in the whole God thing. So maybe Riz is his God thing or his spiritual thing. And, I don't know. Sometimes I feel that maybe that's what somebody needs, is to have something that they can relate to. Because, the good Lord says that I am in you. And, there's people that say that if you worship false gods, it's a sin. But I don't believe that what is happening right now in our life is a sin. It's not a worshiping of a false god. It's getting through a loss and appreciating the spirit that was within Riz. Like, I believe that God was in Riz too. And if God is in Riz, then that means that we can talk to him and tell him how much we miss him and ask him to get us through this, and tell him that we love him and we'll never forget him. And maybe some people need something very close to them to be able to connect the dots and realize that maybe there was another reasoning for all this. Because again, when you have this kind of a passing and a loss, you're always questioning, why, God? Why are you doing this? You get mad, you get upset. And believe me, I was too. And I was about ready to be like, my God, how can I go through this? This is so terrible but there was something in me that said, hold on. Just hold on. Do not despair. I have you. And what I have next is going to be beautiful. And you don't have to forget about Riz, but he isn't gone. And so I think I'm going to leave it at that. And I will do a follow-up video. And hopefully that will be a little bit more upbeat. There will be some sad things that I'm going to have to talk about. But it's going to be amazing what comes out from all this, and I'm excited to see the next journey. So take care, and remember, if you have animals, dogs, cats in your life, hug them every day. Tell them that you love them. Tell them you love them. Don't focus on them not being with you one day. Don't focus on watching sad videos and all these things about after an animal passes, because it's negative. It's negative. I know people mean well, but it's focusing on the negative. Watch happy videos if you're going to watch videos about animals or pets or anything. Read happy things. Don't focus on when that loss occurs, because I truly believe those things manifest out into your life. If you keep dwelling on things like that, just like with anything else, if you keep dwelling on the negative, about negative things, about the turmoil, about, all of it, it all manifests. If it doesn't manifest that day, it will in a week or 2 months or a year, it will have a way of coming back. And just tell your animals that you love them, that you appreciate them being in your life, and give them a hug. This is from Riz. Take care. Bye-bye.